Good morning, traders. It is Tuesday, March 11, 10:30 a.m. Welcome to another video with Digital Goatz Academy. I'm your host, Antoine Farrar, and let's just get straight into the session. I decided to push this back a little bit later just to kind of see what the market is actually giving us. Now, the one thing that I do want to discuss is an actual setup that me and my group are looking at currently. We're in, and that's GBP USD. Now, I talked about this on a video yesterday. I'll push out that video today. So I'll probably push both of these videos out. So YouTube, you'll probably definitely see it. Speaking of YouTube, make sure if you are viewing this video and you find value in it, hit that subscribe button. It's always helpful to help grow this channel the proper way. And basically, enable me to be able to do more for the group. For the community. So GBP USD, I'm still looking at it to sell down. Now, it did push up slightly higher than I expected. Well, I wouldn't say than I expected. It's still within resistance territory. So I have a clean chart right here. I didn't want to pull out like a chart that I already had. I wanted to kind of go through this somewhat live. All right. So this is our resistance, right? Currently, and you can see that the market is obviously like pulling back due to like a new candle, a 30-minute candle being open, but it's still pushed down from this area up here. The area that we were selling from was somewhere around here. Let me see if I can scale down and find it. Yeah, so yesterday what we basically went over is that this was an imbalanced candle right here. So at the very least, I knew that GBP USD was going to probably make its way all the way back up here. But you can see it's been consistently rejecting this price zone right here. And that's from like 129.4 to 129.3. Basically. Well, 29.3 to 29.4. Obviously, we're talking after the decimal. So you can see that multiple times it's been up here. It's rejected this level. Now, really, this was like the start of the resistance. This was the second time. This was the third time. So our fourth time should want to push down as long as the dollar remains bullish. So I did see that the dollar did drop this morning. This morning or last night. So it did drop lower, but it's still staying in that range of that 103. I haven't checked it since opening bell, but I know that the last time that I checked it, it was actually making a support pattern. Let's actually look at that real quick. So yeah, I think when I was looking at it, it was at 103.4, 103.38, something like that. So good signs. And again, it's being reflected by what we're seeing in GBP USD, which is actually like pushing down. So what we did, this was actually, that's actually the zone that we looked at yesterday. So obviously, when I'm looking at the market, I'm looking for 50% of a pullback of a candle or of entire move, but it decided to come 100%, well, really 120%. But if you just did the entire move, still the same thing. Even based off of this imbalanced candle and based off of the entire move, it came within 100% territory, which is still good, which is still what you want to see. Normally what we find ourselves doing is trying to find the market trending ahead of time compared to when it's ready. But right now it's creating a level of consolidation, which again, when I'm seeing it at a high point, I like to see that, consolidation at a high point, because that somewhat almost spells that a possible reversal is coming within the market. Not to mention, it's been hitting these wick rejections up here. So it's been struggling to maintain this. And I think that after it finished consolidating on this daily time frame, because look at it, like I think that we have a lot more room to push down. One, to even retest some of these zones down here, just on a daily time frame, to even retest some of these zones. But two, just to collect some liquidity whenever the banks are ready to do that. But I mean, we're hitting that point. The market is actually rejecting right up here. So it's slow. I mean, it's GU again. It's the beginning of the year, but I mean, it's slow. As we probably get to the close of the London session, the market will probably have like one more aggressive push to the downside. And then, you'll probably have to wait till London for it to continue or after the market resets. I haven't checked any news. I don't know if there's any news that may come out around like 1 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Eastern, because that can actually reflect and, cause it to push down in the direction that we're intended, which I don't know if we're ready to push these levels yet without like struggling to fight within this zone. What I think is we're going to come, where do I have? Like, no, I think, yeah, a little bit below this because this is still support right here. So what I think the market wants to do is, if it's going to continue to buy up or even respect this territory, I think that what the market is going to do is come down to the zone and start to play around here. You may even get an opportunity to, if it still bears, to jump back in for the sell opportunity once the market comes down. So something like this. You know what I'm saying? So something like that, if the market doesn't straight shoot through. I mean, the last time I was expecting a retest, the US 30 just shot through the floor, which I'm gonna talk about that next. But that's my analysis for GU. I mean, there's not a lot of data and there's not a lot of information being filtered into the market. So I don't have like a broad expectation besides like what the market is already showing us. And GU, specifically, it's been showing us that it's been struggling to continue breaking to this high side. But again, I have to check to see if there's any news that could, change the conditions. But I think pretty much for the day, we're set on what the market is actually trying to show us, what it wants to do overall. US 30, man. Oh my gosh, we could have been in all this, yo. But again, when the market starts playing around and start making you second guess, now it broke this territory, this support structure right here. I did have it that I believe that the market was going to push up from, what was it, 41.6. It did push up from there, but then it continued pushing down, which I had to give up my position on. So we're still in that area for support, but if it closes, I mean, we have this whole day left on this candle right now. So if it closes the way it is, and then gives you like a short pullback close to this blue zone, more than like excuse me, more than likely we're continuing to the downside. I mean, it's just been US 30 has just been overly like bearish. But that's something that we talked about, to be honest. We talked about this. Now, the one thing that's been clean in that it is sweeping all this leftover liquidity. So wherever it decides to create support, that'll be structure where you can probably look at it to be like a swing high and bounce off of those zones. But we're back into that consolidation structure, at least for the top of it. Remember our initial, before we started going against our analysis, our initial perspective that the market was going to come down to this zone, this consolidation zone, and we're at it. I think that if we're going to continue, it's going to continue to push into the zone. And maybe if we just, if we just drew a fib on the zone, not that the fib is relevant when it comes to consolidation, but it's just something that I like to do. See what's the potential. So 786 is where I have one of my previous zones that the market bounced up from. what was that, last year in June, and then retested. So where are we at? So it's currently testing the September candle right now. All right. Kind of like that. The fact that this is an imbalanced candle right here. This is still around like the support structure, unless this thing is about to just continue falling out the sky. It's been shooting down, but it's also been struggling. And the fact that this is a 382, we're in the consolidation territory and we're hovering at the 38 percent of this candle right now, which is, if the market turns around from these zones, that would make logical sense because it's in that high momentum territory. This is like regular structure if it, retests within this 50% zone or 618. But if it bounces off of this 382, like that's high momentum. So the market should want to continue being bullish from here if this market bounce off this zone. Let me zoom in so people can see a little bit better. Let me get this out the way. So you see the market shot down. It's struggling. It'll probably like push through. But if we reject and then close, because I can see like US 30 doing that, even though like the change is aggressively bearish, though. I will say that. But here's the thing that I've only seen US 30 be like the change be like at negative 800. I've never seen it go beyond that. That's probably like the max I've seen. So normally when it gets this aggressively bearish, this is probably at least like pullback territory. You know what I'm saying? So when a new candle opens up, the market could switch, start to pull back up. If it's just trying to retrace in order to continue pushing down, which I mean, it very well may be able to, but I mean, it's hard to call it, to be honest, yo. I gotta be completely transparent. It's hard to call it, but still, I still think that we're in this support structure territory, unless we get a pullback, like a shallow pullback to this support structure right here or close to it, and then push to the downside. But man, we basically called this, but we ain't stay in this. That's the only thing that sucks. So yeah, I figured this morning after I saw it like not break into the upside, I figured that we'll pull down to these zones, sweep out any of these buyers down here, which would have been me. So yeah, I still think that we're turning around. Again, if it gives you that pullback back to this consolidation area, and yeah, for sure, we're probably coming down until it creates its own support. I don't think at that point, I don't think that the market is coming down to an area we can identify. It's just wherever it wants to create structure. But you can even see the change is starting to turn around just slightly. Let's look at GU again. So the one thing I like is that on the higher time frame, they're at the points where they were aggressively either bullish or bearish. US 30 was aggressively bearish. GU was aggressively bullish. Yeah, this thing it's gonna come down, but I mean it's slow. Now that was something that I was looking again, I use patterns in conjunction, with me trading. And the one thing that I was looking at is that if the market was going to respect like this, you can identify this consolidation pattern like in two ways. So if it was going to continue, because I had it as a line chart initially, if it was going to continue, it should have like bounced off of like one of these highs. and broke to the upside, and then that would have basically been confirmed like the buy for this pattern. But the fact that one on the candlestick, we can see that the market is actually like pushing to the downside and violated. This is made up, but it still violated this pattern, confirming that we are going to the downside. So like I said, I think we're coming down to, well, this is my initial area. I'm thinking that we're coming down to this area over here, which is 28,500. So once we get from there, I think the market may try to do a rebound, but we'll see from there. Everything's pretty consistent with what we've been trying to see. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, with certain currency pairs, you're not going to be on point. But what we've been following has been true. We've been looking for relief from US 30, not to mention we did expect the dollar to drop, but we were just surprised of how aggressively it did drop. But we did speculate that that was a possibility, you know what I'm saying? So the market is showing its hand based off of what we've been predicting or what we've been forecasting throughout the beginning of this year. And again, it's just March. So, still a lot of time left over within the year to basically make money within these trends. And again, as we get closer to, the end of Q2, really middle of Q3, beginning of Q4, then we'll have like our trending positions, where the market is a little bit more trendy versus it being all choppy and confusing and, making you second guess yourself. But that's just a part of the game. We already know that as traders, that's what you signed up for if you participate in this. If not, don't play ball, you know what I'm saying? So that's my time for everybody today, traders. Again, if you're in my Discord group, just be mindful of watching your profit within GU. Like just manage your trade properly, properly. And everybody else, like have a successful trading week. Again, if you've been following this channel, which again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like, comment. If you've been following this channel, you've been seeing what we've been kind of, predicting within the market. So everything's showing its hand. We just need the market to turn over into the areas that we want it to once it actually starts reaching those parameters. So I will see everybody on the next video of Digital Goatz Academy. I hope everybody has a successful trading day. Make sure you take that profit too. See you later, traders.